What's up, my loves and fellow creatives? Hey, hey, hey. Okay, so I'm actually doing this because I need to do it for a client. So this was one of those things I don't believe I've ever demonstrated before. So I figured this was a good learning opportunity. I'm going to have to go ahead and get this done for a client, but I wanted to show you in real time, and I'm waiting to hear back what type of program or cutter they use, because I think it might be Silhouette, and if so, I'm going to do a Silhouette challenge. I don't use a Silhouette. I don't have a Silhouette. However, I know that some of you are using some of these designs and templates to use on opaque printing jobs, or jobs that where you can't really use the elaborate mask that we use. So the mask, if you look here, I'm going to go ahead and turn this background a weird color, contrasting color, so that you can see. So this mask is pretty ornate. It looks very natural, kind of a grungy slate type of style. Well, if you're doing a print and cut feature, then that's going to be pretty difficult to try to follow. So for this particular solution, I came up with using some vector objects to mask the outside, so that this is very easy to trace. And then you kind of have to plan for this ahead of time, because you know you're going to use a photo, you know you're going to use some of these elements. I want it to not look like a square still. Y'all know how I feel about those squares. So my challenge here is to make something that will be easy to cut out for the Easysubli type of um, application. But if you think you could also use these for stickers, instead of sublimating an entire mug, maybe you or something that you would be maybe a windshield decal, something like that. Those are the things where you're going to print and then you're going to contour cut. So this is the type of application for that. As a matter of fact, this is a particular type of design is going to go on a color shirt. So you already know we can't sublimate on all these colors. So in that case, it's going to go on the Easysubli, or it could go printed as a laser transfer or an inkjet transfer, and then it still has a nice appearance to it. It doesn't look like one of those, just iron-on rectangles that's just stiff with no real design to the contour of it. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get on that. Oh, can y'all hear me? Because I turned the microphone on. Y'all let me know if you can hear me. There is quite a little delay too. Whenever YouTube tries to do the high quality videos, it tells me up front that it's going to create about a 20-second delay. So I'll wait a second to make sure you can hear me before I get started. Okay, great, great, great. All right, so I guess I'm gonna have to put my money where my mouth is, because I told you all, once you learn like one design program like Photoshop, you can pretty much conquer anything. So y'all are gonna see me struggle a little bit with Silhouette Studio today. And I have the free version because I wasn't gonna pay for it, just to just to show you how to use it. And I'm not, a matter of fact, you all will probably end up showing me how to use it. And I'll show you real time when I don't know something, how to look it up. Shakia at Silhouette, what is it? I can't think of the name right now. I'll end up looking it up, but that's, who I would defer to, all things Silhouette, all things cut and apply. So I will definitely defer you to that person. I don't know. I don't think Shakia is here tonight, but she's amazing. Silhouette. I can't think of it right now. Silhoueholics Anonymous. Okay. There it is, Silhoueholics Anonymous. So look her up for all things Silhouette. And as a matter of fact, I'm sure she probably has something that once I show you how to convert one of our templates into a contour style design, I'm sure you can head on over to one of her videos and figure out exactly the settings and all that good stuff. Yep, Silhoueholics. Thank you, Helena. I appreciate that, love. Okay, so challenge is I have this beautiful, and I work really hard to make sure that this doesn't look like something you can cut and paste, mind you. But there are certain instances where we have to do something a little different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these silhouette frames. Now, let me just drag it to the front, the very, very top, so you can see what I'm talking about. I use these all the time. And I'm just dragging and dropping this file. I think I'm dragging and dropping the file. There it goes. And most of you have seen a frame like this. Some call them decorative frames, label frames, that sort of thing. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure that I get the bulk of my image in here. I still want a little bit of something to pop out because I don't want it to look like this frame just by itself. I want it to have some of the decorative element kind of pop out of it to give it a little more unsuspected or unsuspecting kind of shape. So to me, that kind of makes up for not having my little natural faded edges that I like. Okay, so all I did was I just dragged it on top. You can find these online. I'm gonna have a free resource where I give you 2 of these to play with for those of you who are interested in doing this type of project. So it'll be this one, and then I will find, let me see if this one will work. Yeah, so I'll give you these 2. Now this one is a grunge one, but we're not going to use that one today. This is a grunge one. It's very easy to cut if you had to cut the outside and clip your image inside. It's not one of my favorite. Like I said, I like my my bitmap grunge frames because they look very natural. They look very painted and whimsical, artistic. They look like airbrushed or watercolored or whatever the effect is. When you change it to a vector version. So this is the deal between vector versus bitmap. Vector, very easy to distinguish where the edges are of things because it's all built off of math. It's all built off of lines. There is no real fade off to anything. Any fade off is actually an illusion in the vector world, okay? So in Photoshop, yeah, we can get crazy with all these gradients and make things look like they fade into one another. But on the other hand, a vector, which usually I use Illustrator for vectors, is just a different type of file. It's the same type of deal that you use when you're working in your cutting programs. It has to have a mathematical line that it follows in order for that blade to cut it. So basically we would end up taking something like this, and I would even simplify it a little more to take out some of these extra cuts inside of the image, and basically that will be a little bit of a different lesson. So for now though, because this is for a job I have to do, I'm going to stick with this one. It's fancy, it's simple, and I think that it will work well for the design. All right, so this is just my thought process that I'm talking you through as I'm doing it. All right, so I understand that this is going to be my layer mask now instead of the grunge mask that I have right now. So this is a file that I currently have as a template. Some of you may recognize it. I'm going to come down and bring this all the way to the bottom now. And I'm only going to use it basically as a template. Okay. So as a matter of fact, I think I'll keep the black in the background. I really like that. I am going to, I don't need it though, but I will color it in. Let me do a color overlay. I'm going to do a color overlay. We can make this pure black. Or I can make it one of the blues. I can pick a blue here. You see that? I think I'll make it the blue. All right, so let's go with the blue. I'm just going with a darker blue just so it kind of gives a little bit of contrast there. And I just colored this as the background. So I'm going to keep this red on just so you can see while I'm working what's kind of hanging out and what happens to the stuff that hangs out. All right, I'm going to hold down Control, and let me turn on my little cheap here so you can see what I'm clicking on. All right, I'm going to hold down Control and click here on the thumbnail. When I click on the thumbnail, you see these marching ants that pop up? That means that I have that area selected. And what I'm going to do is I already have a layer mask, a little grunge layer mask on this. So what I'm going to do is group everything, and I'm going to make a new layer mask for that everything. And then the stuff that I want to pop out, of course, I will allow to pop out. So I think, let's see where my roses are. I want the wings to pop out. I like how the wings pop out. And I like how this little piece of the rose pops out up here. So I want to make sure that I am not gonna cover those up because I want them to pop out. If you want to make this simple, now simple is make every single thing on here fit within this frame. It will be a really quick, really simple file. However, you know, I have to show you how to do a little bit extra. So if you wanted to stop right here and make everything fit within in this frame, you absolutely can do that by going all the way to the top. Select everything. I'm actually going to delete this as a group. Or maybe I can't because I have something selected. I could ungroup. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything because once I have it in a folder, I can do whatever I want to it. So I selected the very top layer. I held down Shift and then selected the very bottom layer. If I do Control G, that means group. Okay, that's all in a group now. Now what I can do with these little pixels that I have selected, remember I held down Control and tapped on that layer that had the frame on it, it selected these pixels. Now if I hit the new layer mask or add a layer mask, it's going to add a layer mask to that entire folder. All right, now this would be the simplest way to cut it out, right? It would be a real simple file that you could just drop the picture in again and again and again, cut it out the same way, no problem. So let's show you the more complicated version of that. Just a tad bit more complicated, okay? I have this layer mask, but I don't want the layer mask applied to everything. So I can actually disable that layer mask, okay? And I'm gonna take it and drag it. I'm going to hold down Alt, I'm going to make a copy of it, and I'm going to drag it where it matters, okay? So obviously, I have a layer mask right here on my foreground clouds. If I drag it right there, it's usually going to ask me if I want to replace it, but it just replaced it, I believe, where my foreground clouds. Yeah, it just replaced that layer mask that was there. So if that's something, let's say, for instance, you want to preserve, then you can take that, you can group it. This is why I love groups. So now when I apply this layer mask, I'm applying the layer mask to this new group and I'm not disabling my little antique grunge there. I like it. I want to keep it there. So I'm going to first, let me go ahead and, yep, I have that disabled. I'm going to hold down Alt. I'm going to bring a copy of this, and instead of putting it directly on the mask, did it delete my grouping? It sure did. Hold on, let me go back to that. All right, let me group it. I hit undo and I think it undid my group. All right, so where I have a layer mask, I'm going to Control G to group, okay? Now I'm going to drag the layer mask. I'm going to hold down Alt, pick it up, drag it, and I'm going to drop it on top of the group instead of the existing layer there. That way I still get my little grunginess down there in the clouds. I have a few more places where that is. You see this group 12 here? That's really some clouds that are darker on the inside there. Y'all know me, I have a lot of little layers and elements. Since I've made these type of templates, I've tried to get a little simpler with the design, but I can go a little crazy. So I'm going to group that one, do the same thing. I'm going to pull that layer mask onto here. And that way it simplifies the grunge from down here. And if I disable it, you can see just a little bit of how it pops out there. I'm going to go ahead and enable that one. And then finally, I think I don't want it to apply to the roses up here, but I want it to apply to the background. So I think that's going to be this area here. I'll check and see anything else popping out that I don't want to be popping out. Nope. So let's go ahead here and do Control G. All right, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did before, is grab that layer mask, hold down Alt, then I'm going to click and drag it down and apply it to that folder. Okay, so now I see that everything is neatly inside of here except for my rose elements here, which this rose, I'm going to bring in just a little bit, because whenever you have these little tiny elements, and I don't know if you can see this little sliver of a leaf, but that little sliver of a leaf will be really hard to cut. So now I'm compromising, right? I'm trying to compromise between the part of the image that I really want to make it look dynamic because it's popping out, and the part of the image that I don't want to try to save when I try to cut it and it curls up and it's a little tiny piece of something that's going to make my life hard. So right now, everything that I have hanging outside of the frame looks to be relatively easy to cut out, and I'm just following with my mouse because I'm trying to pretend like I'm my plotter or my cutter right now, and I'm cutting out this image. Is there anything that's just real janky, real thin, that might curl up? Now these little pieces of the wings here could be a little controversial, could cause a little problem, but I think that they will work well. Depends on the media that you're using, but yeah, everything else looks good and clean. Like I said, I like to use this background color. You can change it to whatever you want. I have it on red right now just because it contrasts. And I can clearly see that this is a traceable design now. I'm doing Control Z just to zoom in there. Now, if I want to save this as a PNG, I'm going to turn off this red background and I should see the checkerboards. That's of course if you don't have the white selected there. Now the white is how this would appear on a white shirt. Of course, you can put whatever color the shirt or the material is that you're applying this to, the substrate, and kind of get an idea of how this might look. All right, so I'm going to keep it like this, and I'm going to see, I believe that Silhouette has an option. Y'all might have to help me. I have y'all are asking me what I cut it on. I'm not cutting this one out. I'm actually doing this for a client, but the plotter that I have is a Roland GTX 24, so it's a 24-inch cutter or plotter. I know that many of you have Silhouettes and Cricuts and maybe even some Graphtechs or some Rolands out there. We all have different things that we cut on. Mine is more of like a graphics company industrial cutter, and it's not even that, it's not new at all. I think it is over 10 years old now. So my bad boy has been with me for a minute. It is one of the industry standards for cutters, and it has an optical eye and it traces and all that good stuff. So I'm not going to go over that part on this video. I'm just showing you, a lot of you have been wondering how to take some of the template designs that you've purchased and translate them in some way to something that you can cut out. So that's really what this is about, is more of the design of that. And then, you know, once y'all get it into the program and know that it can cut, y'all are good at that point. But I will do, if we get enough interest in it, I will do an example of, once you bring it into the program, a physical example of how you do the print and cuts. And a lot of you are interested in that because that's how you have to sublimate on the glitter. That's how you sublimate on these Easysubli substrates and that sort of thing. Okay, so what I'm showing you now gives you an idea of how to use this for the glitter, for the Easysubli, or even just how to print and cut using your regular old inkjet printer ink and the opaque transfer sheets. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save this as a PNG. And the reason why I do save as PNG instead of export it as a PNG is because I do end up with those issues of the PNG transforming the pixels to just weird, in a weird way. I don't like it. But when I do save as, it seems to save it with the exact dimensions of the paper size and the pixel size that I set up when I set up my my art file. All right, so let's see. Now this is the moment of truth. I don't know what to do on the Silhouette program. I am going to use the help files to figure it out. So let's see, tutorials. I'm going to assume it's some kind of tracing feature. So that's why I had this little help file up for the tracing images. And you all can let me know. Like, I know y'all are experts with this. So this is where I may need your help. I will even, if I need to, I will bring up another YouTube video. And that's what I do when I don't know something. My daddy taught me some very important words whenever I used to ask him for help with stuff. And he would say, look it up. That he told me that he got us access to the internet because the internet had all the solutions of the world. And if I would only look for it, I would find it. And to this day, I believe that. And I was probably what, 10 years, 11 years old when he told me that. All right, so let's see here. I think we're gonna open, because it says open an image to trace. I'm gonna open that image. Oh, wow. It did bring it in pretty high resolution and all. I hope this doesn't crash this program because I don't know. I have the free version of this. So I don't know what the limitations are for the free version of Silhouette, but I'm showing you what I can do for the free ski. Okay, I'm just gonna bring it down in size so that it would fit on this mat. And I'm sure I could resize this mat and everything. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of this software for the Silhouette and the Cricut and all of that are very similar in how it works. All right, oh my gosh, do y'all see that? It's got an automatic outline around this. I think it's because I saved it as a PNG and I did my best to kind of clean it up, but I do see that I could probably smooth out these lines a little bit. I'm sure there's a way I can do it in this program, but that's bomb, y'all. So I'm done. Tutorial over. Drops mic. All right, I'm sorry. I'm tickling myself right now because it's been a long behind week. All right, so don't know what I would do next. I'm gonna guess. Okay, I could go through the tutorial like I said I was gonna do. Open the trace panel, boom. Okay. Right now it looks like it has a little red line there. Let me go through the directions first because I'm the type of person that thinks I can just explore everything and figure it out. All right, set in the trace area. Sure, we'll call that the trace area. Looks like it's already set though. I guess this is if I really wanted to trace the individual elements of this to make it like a vector that I would be able to cut out with vinyl and have the different layers. I'm not interested in that, so let me see. Then we'll do a solid fill. Yeah, solid fill. Threshold. Like I said, I think it already did the outline naturally, but okay, so if I turn it all yellow, is that what's up? Because it seems like I still have some little areas here. And I am definitely not following the directions. I'm definitely doing what I want to do. Y'all forgive me. I know this is not what you came here for. I just traced the outer edge. Is that it? Nope, because everything went gray on me. Okay, let me finish looking at the directions. Jeez Louise. High pass filter, low pass filter. Trace outer edge. That's what I had selected. Look at y'all trying to help me out. Look at this. Okay, or helping me out. Leave the high pass alone. Okay, I think when I selected something, it grayed everything else out now. So maybe I'm tripping. Let me see. What can I select here? Where's my selection tool? Can I not just pick on stuff and move it? Because I don't think I even need that. I think I can just cut from there. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong though. But this looks like it already has a line cut out on there. May not be though. So I'm gonna do what y'all say. Select the area, Hit the little butterfly. No, I'm tripping. Uh-oh. What is it doing? Let me wait and see if maybe I'm doing something wrong here. I thought I should just trace the edges, but it didn't look like it was doing that for me. Okay. So now it's got some stuff traced that I didn't mean for it to trace. So bring the threshold up. Somebody told me leave the high pass alone. Increase the threshold. Hit trace edges. What do y'all see? Oh, trace outer edge. So that's what I'm supposed to hit. Trace outer edge. Okay. Well, that looks like the same thing that it had already selected, but that looks good. So is that all we have to do? I'm so lucky for you all. Okay, so basically my whole objective was to show you that something that you do in Photoshop. Now we have a way of doing this in Photoshop to Illustrator, so that's what I do is I take mine to Illustrator and then I use my rolling cutter to cut out from Illustrator, but I'm sure like there's a print cut feature in here. I'm sure that there's a way to set up your print and cut. I don't know. I'm not even going to try to guess it on this. I just wanted to show you that something that you design in Photoshop can have a clean edge, clean enough for you to pull it into any cutting software, even if it's one that I don't know how to use. Now, I also figured that there's probably a way to set like an offset or something. I am not particularly fond of that, but like if you wanted to have a white outline around everything, I'm sure there's a way to set an offset. Oh, here goes offset. Look at that. Okay, now I just created an extra offset. I'm sure there's a way to delete one of those too. There you go. So if you wanted a white offset, you guys are just on here killing it. And I'm sure you would have to probably tell it not to cut that inside line if you wanted to have the offset. But y'all know how to do all that because y'all are the ones that are experts in this silhouette and cameos. I'm just giving you an idea of how you can take the Photoshop templates that you already have, these glorious designs that you all know how to put together now. You can still make them look banging even if you have to use opaque transfers. All right, so now the rest of this, I'm going to go ahead and imagine that you would save it. I'm sure you would save anything you're working on. And how I do mine is I save mine as Adobe PDF so that I can open them in Photoshop. I can open them in Illustrator so I can edit them in Photoshop, you know, edit the image as I need to. Then I save it as Adobe PDF. Then I can edit it in Illustrator and it'll have the little trace lines on it. And then I'm able to edit either program. I can bitmap edit it in Photoshop. I can vector edit the cutout lines in Illustrator, and it's a pretty compatible process for me. Now this is pretty much you design in one program, pull it into another and cut it. But as I stated, as long as, and I'll try this just for demonstrative purposes. I'm going to do a different one so I don't mess with this template. Let me see if I have another template ready for y'all. This one we just recently did. I guess I got this 123. Oh, that's an all over. That's kind of big. I need a one that's not all over. Although I could do it with this one. But the all over files are just so large. I already have a lot going on right now. So I'm going to do the 13 by 19 version of this, just to show you no matter what template you have, even if it isn't all over, that you can do this same process if you had to do your print and cut for your dark shirts. Okay, and this is probably an overdue video because I'm sure a lot of you have been wanting to use these templates for your dark color shirts, but you probably have just been printing them on the rectangular sheet and going on about your business. So now this gives you a little bit of a different way that you can solve a problem. Okay, so again, you see this layer mask that we have here. This is almost impossible to cut out. And I'm sure, as a matter of fact, if you brought this into your program, so if I save this as export, nope, I'm going to save as a PNG. Save as a PNG. And hopefully it's not so confusing that it breaks down the program. So I can close out of this, right? So I can close that tab. Nope, don't save that. Nope, don't save that. Okay. Oh, it's just opening up new ones every time. All right, so this time I'm going to file open the football image that y'all just saw. All right, big image 2. And so, yeah, it tried to cut this out. So this is cool. Look at that. Now, I'm sure that's not what you want to weed. Now, that's the bigger issue. So what we're going to do, now I'm sure you could clean it up in this program too, because if you told it just not to cut out these pieces out here, and even though that might be in your sublimation image, that wouldn't be in your cutout, you probably will be fine. So what it did was it took those areas that were see-through, that were transparent, and it tried to block it into this opaque single kind of traced mask here, which is cool. That's really cool. I'm excited about this. Now, what I would do, and I'm sure you all have the know-how and the wherewithal, go in there and clean up these little pieces. You might do that with your threshold or whatever. Like I said, I'm not well versed in this program. I just want to show you that there are ways that you can use this to cut out in your program. So if you wanted to start, just to start off with an image that had a masked area that was vector to begin with, then I'm just going to show you a little shortcut to do that. Now this has drop shadows and all kind of things on it, so you have to be aware of that. You may have to take off your drop shadows when you're tracing an image. You probably have to just make sure it's clean and as simple as can be on the outside there. But what we're going to do here is take everything. I'm just going to keep it simple. Take everything from the top. I'm holding down shift. I'm selecting the bottom layer. Control G is going to group it. So I have one big old group layer, right? And then I'm going to take this layer mask this time, which is one of those vector ones I told you is easy. See how it just doesn't look as good to me? However, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So I'm not judging you if you have to use this type of layer mask. I'm just saying it is not my favorite. Okay, but I have used it. If I have to use a vector one, then I have used it before. That's why it's there as one of my little smart objects. All right, so I'm gonna hold down Control, click on the thumbnail. It did a little marching ant selection there. And then I'm gonna turn the eyeball off. So you just see the marching ants there. Go to this group 8 here and create a new layer mask there. You see how that did? Now, I don't have my helmet popping out. If I want my helmet to pop out, I have to do what I told you before, which is to take this. I'm going to disable the layer mask here. And I have to apply that layer mask to everything except for what I want to pop out. So, for instance, I would have to apply it to that background. See how it replaced the background? I would have to apply it. There's somewhere else where it is. I think it's the rain, the background. What else does it apply to? Oh, the rain here, so I would have to replace the layer mask for the rain. And there's something else that's popping out here. Let me go ahead and put this on. It's the background here. Oh, my display is lagging right now. Okay, so this is for this group, so then I will have to take it also. I can't put it on the group because the helmet's in there. So I'm going to select everything except for the helmet and put it on that. So now everything is cleaned up, clipped inside of there except for the helmet and the text. So what I would suggest is you take off the drop shadow from the text, because when you try to cut this out, it's going to try to trace that shadow and it's not going to be cool. Same thing here with the actual font has a little drop shadow on it. I would take that off. Now, of course, if you had a hard drop shadow, that wouldn't, see how that's a soft drop shadow? If you had a hard drop shadow, I would say maybe you could leave it on because it would trace that, but you just don't want to take that chance. It's not necessary. All right, so here I'm going to say this is a PNG. Save as PNG. And that's just going to be an example. As a matter of fact, as soon as I opened this program, it told me something about bringing in a PNG and it would automatically trace it. Can I not search this file? Oh, hold on. Some feel like it's about to crash. Oh, okay. PNG. Says it's working on it. This surprisingly, this silhouette takes up a lot of resources because it is really slowing my little stuff down. All right. So my objective is really to show you all how you can create a PNG that is traceable. It would be nice if I can make this actually trace for you. But like I said, it mentions something about bringing in an image with a transparent or white background, and it can automatically trace it for you. So I'm not sure. This looks like that is exactly what it's doing because it is. It does have a contour cut out here. I just don't want to assume that that's it. Now, what do y'all say? Hit the send tab. You can see what it will cut. Send. Send to printer. Uh-oh. I'm sure there has got to be a way. Because it says edit points. Oh, I can edit the points. This is what I was telling y'all. Okay. Listen, y'all don't take this for no tutorial on this stuff. I'm sitting here trying to edit these points and stuff. This is not, I'm just assuming that this is similar to the type of program that I'm used to. I'm not an expert at all on this thing. I assume that there's a way that you can, edit these points, delete the points, all of that good stuff. Yeah. Like I said, if something was a little too extra, I'm sure that you could kind of smooth it out, maybe move one of these nodes if you thought that if every time you cut that out, I was trying to edit a specific node. Yeah, it looks like all of that stuff can be done from here. This is pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. Simplify. I guess simplify just smooths it out by making it less nodes. Like I was saying, this one, you might want to come in and simplify those nodes. I don't know how well it's doing it, but that's a pretty complicated cut path, which I'm sure it can cut, but why stress your system out that much? Why stress your system to cut all of these little, and you know that's what it's going to sound like all around that. So just smooth it out, clean it up. I just wanted to show you how any template that I have can be turned into whether it be a 13 by 19 or you resize this to any, any which size that you prefer for whatever object you're putting it on. There's a way to do that. So naturally, I give you layer masks within any of my 13 by 19 files because I just think they're cool. I think they make your image look cool, and I think they happen to take up a lot of the available real estate, the negative space of the shirt without making the shirts look white, which is everyone's #1 complaint is a white t-shirt. So I always try to fill in the background and then kind of give it a cool way of cutting it off so that it looks substantial on a white t-shirt versus a white t-shirt. If I just had the hand and the helmet and the word Bulldogs, it would look like still like a white t-shirt. So my idea is to pull people over into the sublimation side by showing them how, yes, it is a white shirt, but I want to show you how intricate we can get with designs. Same thing with the iron-on type of deals. If you have to do an opaque transfer or a transfer that you can feel on the shirt, why not let it have some kind of cool cutout so that it doesn't turn your customer off, and sometimes it turns us off to put everything in these rectangles. So this is just giving you some options there. Maybe we'll do some sort of process in the future where we'll do a print and cut session. I won't be the one to lead it. I will find someone who knows a silhouette program way better than I do to lead with that part of it. But we do the first part of the class will be to just get you all used to making your own layer mask from an existing template or existing artwork, and then the second part of the class will be actually doing the print and cut part of it. Okay. So like I said, I use the Roland Cut Studio program, and I use the Roland GTX 24, but I think the majority of you are Silhouette and Cricut users, so that would be a very beneficial class to have. Sharon, Silhouette reminds me so much of what my Roland setup looks like, and I wonder if, it's the same, same backing or parent company or something to that effect, 'cause it essentially has all the same functions. Okay. And I'm sure if I wanted to really get into this would get me in some trouble and I would learn some things and be teaching y'all a whole nother program, but that's not my job, people. I gotta stay focused. I'm one of those people. My daddy used to have to tell me all the time, play your position, Shannon. Keep it simple, Shannon, which in the Army they used to say, keep it simple, stupid, KISS, KISS. Anyways, so I have to remember those things because I'm not a multitasker. I go all in on anything that I learn. So I'm going to keep it simple with this. I'm just showing you how to do it in Photoshop. Once you bring it into this program, we'll have someone else to show you how to do this. And I wonder even if Shakia from Silaholics Anonymous, let me see. I am curious. I'm pretty sure she has something like this. So let's check out Silaholics Anonymous. And, well, it looked up Alcoholic Anonymous for me. So let me see if I can. Yeah, Silaholic. You just auto-corrected me. Now I'm gonna have Alcoholic Anonymous stuff popping up on my suggestions. All right, so let me show you what I'm seeing right now. Dun, dun, dun. And I'm just gonna look up the word contour to see if she has something in contour cuts. Yeah, that looks like something it right there. Now, yeah, she even has one on the point editing and stuff. So y'all go check out my girl Shakia. This seems like exactly what you need to be seeing and doing right here. Perfect. All right. And for I'm going to call it the Silaholics. For the silhouette, she has her own teaching that she does. So look at that. She's showing you how to move those nodes. Like I said, this is very similar to what I do in my roll-in program. But I don't proclaim to be the expert of everything. I just know that once you become an expert at one thing, it is likely that you can achieve anything else. And I'm talking about in life in general. Just because once you master one thing, you kind of get an idea of what it takes to master something. The concentration, the discipline, the tools, the way that, I mean, even the way a program is set up is not that different from program to program. So that's why I say if I have my mastery, I'm going to pass the torch when it comes to another program because I don't intend to master the silhouette, especially being that I don't use it. But because I know Photoshop, I can go in a program like that and play around in it and probably figure it out within an hour and go on about my business. Okay. That's funny. That is funny. Okay, well, I tell y'all what. Definitely if y'all go check her out. Is she this isn't the one she's doing right now though. Is she doing a live video right now? Yes, she is. Okay, let me oh. That is so funny. All right. So that's you know what that's called? That's called confirmation. That's how you know you're doing stuff right. That deja vu, confirmation, stars aligning, planets aligning, all that stuff. So y'all check out my girl for that because I am going to have to get offline, get this to the customer. Like I said, the reason why I was doing this is because number one, it was an art request, and number two, the person stated that they're going to be doing a print and cut version. So I already knew I couldn't just send her, you know, the grunge that I usually use will be way too difficult to cut out for a bunch of shirts. If you're just doing one shirt and you want to make it look cute, fine. But you're doing a lot of work, you want to make it as simple as possible, and then that way you preview it to the customer in the simple way, and they don't know that, oh, this once had a real cool grunge background and I can't get that because I have a red shirt and not a white shirt. They just know what you showed them. So my point was to show you how you can simplify it, still make it look, you know, a little bold by having some of the elements pop out, but you have to have the eye to determine what you want to pop out, what you want to keep in, and how to simplify it. Okay, so that was my process for showing you this today. All right, so you all let me know if there are any questions that you have. I'll stick around for a second. Yeah, Sharon, this template is actually on the NA Lab website. All right, so if I can spell my own website. This one, if you just type in roses, it's going to be one of the templates that have the word roses in it. So there it is right here. So this template is on there. For those of you who are waiting, it's 10 more days to the next Real Deal Holyfield discount day that we're doing, another stimulus day. It's going to be February, I think I told y'all February 22nd. Don't let me lie though. February 22nd. Yeah, February 22nd. I'm going to do a 50% off sale. The templates will be 50% off, ink, cartridges, chips, anything you think of, okay? So if y'all have been waiting for a chance to kind of really delve into sublimation, that's an excellent opportunity because it doesn't come around often. And I did it once this month. I'm doing it another time at the on the 22nd of this month, just as my appreciation for you all, for your support, for everything that you put up with me in these long behind videos, and all of that good stuff. The 13-inch Insta Slice, that one, did I not put it up yet? Because it's done. Oh, Simply Beautiful. I'm so glad that you told me that because if it didn't upload, then I need to re-upload it. But yes, I'll go ahead and put that one up tonight, okay? I will put that up tonight. And Sharon, you absolutely, I'm going to leave this video up for you. Do want to remind you all that we do have class on Sunday. This Sunday's class for my 100, for my beginner's levels, folks. That means if you've never taken Photoshop before, if you've done less than 2 classes, this is really a really great class for you. I'm going to go ahead and go to the Academy so I can show y'all. For my 200 level students, meaning that you've done at least 2 of the either live courses or you've done them on your own time, but you still have completed the task, then you all will be doing the same thing. It's just that this is the one time, you know how I never let y'all go out and do your own thing and add extra stuff. This is the one time where you are going to have permission. Matter of fact, you are going to be expected to do some extra stuff. So instead of 1 image bringing it in, you're going to be bringing 3 images in. You're also going to be expected to use some different brushes other than just the paint splatter brushes. So you're going to have to explore those brushes and see what works well for you. But the 101 class is going to look a little something like this. Okay, so the 101 class, we're going to be starting from scratch. You're gonna, all the files are going to be provided for you, the brushes, the fonts, the outline that you're going to need for the all over shirt. And as a matter of fact, it's going to be kind of like a hunt where you go to the link and figure out for yourself, how would I download these elements? So you're going to be provided that within your contents. You're going to work through everything in class. The only thing that you have to have prepared is the photo that you're going to bring in. Okay, and we're going to even cut it out together, so you don't even have to worry about cutting it out. Because this is your first course or a 101 course, we're going to go through cutting it out together. We're going to go through installing the fonts. It might be a 4-hour class instead of a 3-hour class because we are going to walk through all of those elements. But my advanced students, I'm expecting you to be working on a different level than my 100 level students, okay? Rochelle, I need to make a video for that for using the cleaning solution. What you're gonna do is essentially that little clear tube that comes with the syringe. You're just gonna pull out a little bit of cleaner from the container, and you're gonna take that tube and you're gonna seat it. It fits perfectly on your print head nozzle. So you take out all your cartridges and you seat that on top of your print head nozzle. Set a little paper towel underneath the you know, I do need to make a video for that because I need to tell you how to unplug your printer so that you can move your carriage left to right and go ahead and push. And sometimes you're pushing and you're pulling a little bit of that ink through the nozzle, depending on how bad it is. If it's just like a couple of lines you're missing, you just push a little fluid, like those little marks that are on there, just 1 to 2 of those marks is all you need to push through each of those nozzles. And then if you have something that's really tough, let's say you do that 2 nights in a row and it's still not working, there's another process that you can use to let it soak overnight. And then you can also push the liquid in and push a little bit in and then pull a little bit out. And if there's a big clog that you have in there, sometimes that loosens it enough to where it'll actually pull up into your syringe and you'll see it floating around in your syringe. So I will definitely need to make a video for that too, because that's probably sounds a lot harder than it is. It's super simple. All right. All right, so I talked about 101, talked about the process that we came here today for, which was learning how to contour cut. I need to go ahead and get this ready for the client, but let me see. Oh, Rochelle, you don't clean the print heads? It's not something that you just regularly do. It's just if you have a really stubborn print head. And I mean stubborn in the sense that, you know, you've done a couple print head cleanings within, you know, giving yourself about 3 to 4 hours between print head cleanings. Don't go doing print head cleanings back to back to back to back, because that will actually make the situation worse. So let's say you had some real bad banding, can't get rid of it. You did a print head cleaning this morning. You did another one like, you know, this evening before bed, and you're just like, okay, it's not coming clean. I would say try that one more day. I know sometimes you don't have that type of time, but you only want to use the cleaner when it's really needed. The other thing you can do is you can actually put the cleaner in a empty set of cartridges, and when one of your colors is just really giving you trouble, you can pop it in instead of the color cartridge. You can use cleaner in its own cartridge, just a separate set of cartridges, and then you can use that to periodically, you know, naturally pull the cleaner through the system. But when you're going and you're pushing and pulling the cleaner through the system, that's more of a remedy, like something is wrong. It's not a maintenance thing. And I got picked at for saying maintenance the way that I do. So excuse me if I enunciate a little too much. Okay, Chrissy, it's not for the Etsy class. We're doing a Shopify store. The Shopify store class is on the 21st. And then we're going to do a an all over class on the 27th. So it's going to be on a Saturday instead of the Sunday. So on the 27th, anyone that wants to learn how to use the Insta Slice template, where it slices up the all over shirt, and then you put it together by hand, you tape it up and all of that good stuff, and then we press it together on the big board. Anybody wants to do that, that's going to be on the 27th. I got you, Helena. And that's been something on my to-do list that obviously is super long right now, but I do want to go ahead and do that for y'all. I honestly, I don't have a 77, 10, or 20 set up anymore. I have all my eco tanks set up now since I moved, so I have to set up a one of my old, like it's been basically, I use them for parts, and they're all in the garage, so I basically have to pull one of those from boxed up in the garage somewhere just to do a demonstration for that. It's been so long now since I've even used the 77 10s and 20s. So yes, I will dig them out and I will find a way. Awesome, awesome. All right, I see y'all are doing the thing. All right, so I know usually I stick around and answer questions a little bit longer. I will be back on more than likely tomorrow because I'm gonna let you all know um, that the classes are set up for the next few weeks. I'm going to go ahead and make the classes where you can sign up for them, but you won't be able to download the stuff for them until the appropriate time, because I don't have to explain it. Y'all know what happens with some of these files. So yes, just to recap, this Sunday, which is the 14th, which is Valentine's, I am doing the course where we do 101, which is where you're learning how to design from scratch using a lot of techniques that are not super advanced, but they will look advanced, okay? And then on the 21st, that's the next Sunday, we're going to be doing I'll show you. We're going to be doing the Shopify class. So in order to do the Shopify class, you have to have course number 122 done. So you need to have whatever images that you're going to have for your store, whatever products, you need to have them done, okay? So that needs to be completed. And then you also need to have 201 completed. Okay, now these are going to be pre-recorded because we already did them live. So it'll be your responsibility to show and prove that you have those ready. If you don't have those ready, you will not be able to actively participate in the Shopify setup, okay? Because I can't take time from those who are prepared to catch up those who have not prepared. So we're going to be strict on that. 122 and 201 must be completed before you do that course, and it will be called course number 202. Okay, and we're actually going to take the elements that we created in this class, and you all will have fun with this too. We're going to take the elements from this class and apply them to the Shopify store and basically get our stores ready. Even if you just have to sign up for the free 7-day trial just to try it out, set it up, see if you like it. And then if you want to continue it, I believe the plans are as low as $30 a month. So if you plan on having an online store, that's basically what we're going to set up. Now the same way we do this for the Etsy store, you can take the same exact methods and set up your Etsy store, set up an eBay store, set up your Facebook, your Instagram, all of your digital media, all of your social media. You can use these same style banners. The square ones are really good for Instagram. This long one is good for, your Facebook and your websites. Even if you have a free, what is that called? Like a Wix website or whatever. Every website has a banner. So you can use these banners. You can use you have your logo on that one. You have your favicon on there. So a favicon is that little logo that pops up on the tab. So what is this? I can't even think right now. A flask here. This is a logo that I uploaded. They have another variation of it here. Of course, YouTube has their little logo. So that favicon is something that we designed in that class too. So then that way you don't see that generic Shopify little logo. You see whatever little favicon that represents your business there, okay? Awesome, awesome. Kim, I cannot wait to see what you come up with. I'm excited for you too. And the thing about it is, once you all get these things rolling, it takes the fear out of it. It takes the procrastination, because some of us ain't fearing nothing. We're just procrastinating. And as a matter of fact, the reason why I'm doing this class is because I have been procrastinating. I'm supposed to be setting the store up for my best friend who has her own brand. So from the logo to of course, the design, and also printing and manufacturing her brand and her shirts. So I'm going to be doing all of that. So you all get to kind of uh, see a part of that process. As I'm developing it for her, I'm also showing you my progress. Okay. So we're learning and growing together. I need to do this for my own stuff. I need to do this for my own website, for my own material. But for right now, I am content with having my stuff be not as up to par as long as I can have you all have the bomb stuff, okay? Literally. All right, love. So I think I talked a little longer than I said I was, but I always get excited to spend time with you all whenever I can make that time. So I appreciate you all dearly. I'm glad that you all could join me on this little last minute live. I didn't really plan to do this live, but I figured you all would want to see how I was tackling this specific issue. All right, loves. Well, y'all know the drill. Y'all know I love y'all for real. And until next time, bye.